Yeah, what a huge win for our program, for this team. I'm so proud of the grit and the determination that we played with. It was not pretty by any means, but that was a win that we needed to grind out. It was a win of a game of runs, and we never let one get out of control. I thought we had a response each time they went on one, and I thought that these two young ladies stepped up in the fourth quarter when the game was on the line and went to war. Really went to war, and that's what we got to have. And we had so many kids that stepped up and did some really good things. And again, not playing our best basketball and finding a way to win is huge for us. And I have a lot of respect for, obviously, Cammie Etheridge and just her as a player and a coach and what she's done. And that's a good basketball team. That's a really good basketball team, and they have a great tradition, and that's a huge win for us.
Hey, Bailey, you and Jazz led the way in the fourth quarter, being the team's highest scorers during the period. In a time of need, you both stepped up. Could you talk about the chemistry between the two of you and what you guys really did to bring the team back in the fourth?
It was me and Jazz scoring, but our teammates were getting us those shots. Without them, we wouldn't be in this position. It's a team sport, and super thankful to all of them, but especially Jazz. She turned it up in the fourth quarter. She got everybody going, and that spark of energy just kicked it off for the rest of the team.
Jazz, could you just give insight on what goes through your head when needed? Back-to-back games, just popping off in the fourth quarter, like your ability to step up. What goes through your head?
It starts with my teammates, coming to me, telling me, Jazz, it's time for you to step up. We need you. Just really feeding off my teammates' energy. And, I know that they need me to be that leader in the fourth, especially like tonight. We had a close game, and like Bailey said, it wasn't just me and her in the fourth. It was really all 15 of us, even the players on the bench. Like, the spark of energy that we had in the fourth is something that we definitely need to start the game with, but it got us this win. And so it's not just me out there. It's the other four players out there that are bringing me energy, and I'm able to feed off of that.
Yeah, Jazz, y'all were down 5, called a timeout, and out of the timeout, you got the 3 to sort of start the run there in the fourth quarter. What did Coach say to, sort of inject that energy into y'all?
Well, Coach drew up an amazing play like she always does, and basically just told me to go out there and hit the shot, and that's what I did. And I think that's what started, of course, the run. That's what started the spark. That's what started our, energy. And I think, we just never looked back after that 3. But, Coach said a few words in the huddle, and we, what I'm saying, we took it and went with it. But it was words of needs. It was a word of like, come on, let's grind this win out. Let's grind this game out, and we did.
Bailey, I saw the kind of chemistry that you and Sarah had on a couple plays there in the fourth quarter. Seems like, she's becoming an option for y'all on the offensive side. Just what have you seen from her and how, she's sort of fitting herself in with, this new team for her?
Absolutely. Sarah, every single game that she's played here, she's played amazingly. She's super athletic. She's super long. She can rebound the ball. She honestly saves us on a lot of plays just by blocking shots or by getting offensive rebounds or defensive rebounds. But the chemistry that we have comes from the hours of practice that we put in every single day. And, each game that we play, that's just going to continue to grow. And I'm really excited about that.
For both players, what does it mean to get a big victory like this on your coach's birthday?
Well, we don't want her to have a bad day. We want her to have a good birthday, so we had to get her the win. But no, a win like this is a super huge thing. It helps us kick off our season early. It kind of shows us where we're at and the growth that needs to happen. So. Happy birthday.
Thank you, guys. See y'all tomorrow.
Coach, everything began to fall into place in the fourth quarter. At one point, the team went on an 11-0 run. What adjustments did you make just for that to happen?
We have so many new players and just still trying to figure out how the lineups and the gel and things like that. And we had an opportunity there. We were down 5, I believe, and we had an opportunity to draw something up to try to help them know exactly what to execute because our based on inbounds plays haven't been great this year. So I just wanted to give them an opportunity to score to try to give them some life. And I thought, Jazzy was big time because I'm not really sure that was a clean look, and she still had the confidence to pull the trigger and get it going. But I'll tell you what helped was that as soon as we scored that, Logan got a steal, and we got another 2 buckets, and all of a sudden, we were down 5, and I said we needed to close the gap, and they with 1 possession, and they actually, tied it up in 2 quick possessions. So I just think that this is a team that we're going to have to find ways to continue to grind, and we're going to have to continue to find who's playing really well and at what time. But I was super impressed and pleased that our juniors, Bailey and Jazzy particularly, stepped up late, and especially in the fourth quarter. They won that game from last year, from all the things that they went through last year. So I'm really proud of them and the grit they showed.
And after the game versus New Mexico, you mentioned that when Jazz goes off, it'll come in bunches. She scored 9 out of 13 of her points in the fourth. What do you think of her ability to come through in big moments in just these last 2 games?
Yeah, I think she's a competitor. I mean, there's no doubt she's a competitor. That's why you as a coach, I really have to stick with her too. Like I try to pull her out when she's not guarding. I try to get her attention to, to try to for her to be an all-around player, not worry about just scoring. But we need her to score, and I feel like we just have to continue to keep going to her. She's gonna get it rolling at some point. She's just such a competitor and as such a talented individual that it's really fun to watch her do that, and it's fun to watch her take over games.
Hey, Coach, you referenced the timeout when y'all were down 5. Are you allowed to say what you told them during that timeout?
Yeah, I really don't know which timeout it was because in that timeout I feel like I was I felt like I was pretty calm and trying to get them situated to where they could make a comeback. I think there was maybe a timeout before that that I got after them pretty good about just doing little things right because they were really making some silly mistakes. Just driving on top of each other, not continuing to run the offense, not communicating on defense, just little things like that. And they're just so much better than that. And I've got to get their attention sometimes and really challenge them. And that's what I love about this team is I can challenge every single one of them. And they look me right in the eyes and they say, yes, coach, and they try to go get it done. So I loved the way they responded. And I thought that they really responded by executing that inbounds play at that time.
And Jazz said that sort of sparked some energy. Did you sense a lack of energy or just maybe some of the offensive struggles had, kind of had them down up to that point?
Well, no doubt. I mean, I think, we're a team that can turn people over. And when we turn people over in the press and we get easy buckets, we can really get the crowd going. We can get good energy. And we couldn't turn them over. That led to easy buckets. Now, we did end up turning them over 19 times, which is fantastic because they don't turn the basketball over. But we needed to put some back-to-back consecutive possessions together that were positive to get our energy going. So, yeah, we definitely needed a little bit of a lift, and I thought that that was the perfect time for them to do it, and I love that they responded.
And you mentioned Coach Etheridge and the impact that she has, around this area. Just what did it mean to, bring her home and face a local legend like that?
Yeah, for sure. Well, she's obviously her reputation and her resume speaks for itself. I was in high school when she was winning a national championship in college, and it was incredible to watch what a great player she was. And whenever you grow up in this area and then somebody like that is so successful in the area that you're passionate about, you take notice, and then you really start looking up to them and you watch them throughout their career. And I'm just so I'm so glad that she came back. I've ran into her a couple of times. I know her sister really well, and I've ran into her a couple of times when she's here visiting her mom, and I think that's fantastic. And I just think life is so short that when there's opportunities for you to bring people back and recognize them in their hometown and let them play in front of their friends and family or let their team play. I just think that's important, but it's also important for West Texas to see legends like that come out of Lubbock, and we have a lot of those. And it's I'm not afraid to bring them back and to show them off or whatever, but Lubbock produces some really special people, and Cammie Etheridge is certainly one of them.
You guys are forcing 22 turnovers per game through 4 games. You had 19 tonight, like you mentioned. Seemed like it helped keep you in the game in the first half when you weren't shooting very well. What have you seen from that front so far through the first 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think what I loved tonight is that we weren't playing offensively well, but we were still defending. And I had to keep looking up at the scoreboard to see, like, oh gosh, have they, every time they scored, which wasn't very often, but I didn't feel like we ever scored. And so I had to keep reminding myself, right, that we're grinding it out. And so as frustrated as I was on offense, I was so proud of them on their defense, because we weren't turning them over in the full court. We were turning them over in the half court, and that's important because we can really defend in the half court, and that is something that we may have to rely on a lot when our press isn't working. But anytime that you're struggling offensively, if you can defend, I mean, they say that all the time, right? Defense wins championships, because you're not always going to shoot the basketball well. It's not always going to be a great offensive team, but you can play defense every single night, and these kids are buying into that. So I'm super proud of that. And even holding them to 52, I think they average close to 72. So that's a huge stop for us.
Anything else for Coach?
Thank you, guys.